European Council President Herman Van Rompuy joined the European Conservatives and Reformists group for an exchange of views on subjects ranging from the EU's 2020 economic strategy to European economic governance and from national debt to the EU budget. Mr Van Rompuy accepted that the Lisbon agenda had achieved some successes, but that it failed to meet its headline objectives.
Previous economic strategy, the so-called Lisbon agenda, did achieve some results. I'm not as negative as some others, but these are generally considered as insufficient. Indeed, it failed in its headline objective of making the European Union, remember, the most dynamic and competitive knowledge-based economy in the world, which was a good slogan. Many have concluded that the Lisbon was unsuccessful because it did not force member states to live up to what they agreed in principle to do.
He also rejected suggestions that he had proposed a requirement for national finance ministers to submit their budgets to the European Commission before submitting them to national parliaments. The President also accepted that more needs to be done to provide sufficient representation to new EU members in the European Union's senior positions.
My question is, why is it so? What can you do about it?
I come from a country which is overrepresented, so it is very difficult for me in my former capacities. It takes some time, but first things first, I think for the External Action Service we have really to correct that imbalance. My Deputy Chief of Staff is an Hungarian, so I try in my 23 people at my disposal to give some answer to that kind of underrepresentation. I have also Polish and other ones, of course. But in the 23,000 of the Commission, there is a real underrepresentation.
I think it was a very fruitful discussion, very lively discussion. Of course, we didn't agree with Mr. Van Rompuy on everything. We agreed with him on many things, on the other hand, and I think that the whole meeting served to our better mutual understanding and to the fact that we know better each other. So I think that it was worthwhile.